This is the second Harry Potter product that we've done on the channel so far, and in neither instance was I wearing a Harry Potter shirt. I suck at this. Hi, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay, and I don't have a Harry Potter shirt, but let's make stuff. What's up, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are here for another round of 365 days of soap. And today, we're not making soap, we're making lotion. And what's better than lotion? A lotion potion. And what's better than a lotion potion? A lotion potion that is a shimmer and has a beautiful copper. Yeah, it's called the Felix Felicis. It is amazing. And, you know, liquid love, Felix Felicis, yeah. And this lotion is made with Shea Argan oil, and it is absolutely delightful. It is a nice, like, medium weight consistency, right? So not too thin and not so thick that it's now a cream. And shimmer, it's beautiful. Anyway, let's go watch the making of the thing, and you can learn some tips and tricks on how to make cool lotion. Let's go. So the Felix Felicis, this is one of 3 lotions that we carry in the Harry Potter inspired lotion line. So we've got the Felix Felicis, the Lotion Potion Polyjuice, and the Amortensia. Now all lotions are going to start out with distilled water. I mean, you can use aloe vera as well, but for this one we use distilled water in a sanitized container. We want to make sure that everything is nice and clean, so we don't have any, you know, microbes that will grow on your lotion after you get it, because that would suck. And we heat the water up to at least 165 degrees. And while that's heating, we measure out the stearic acid as well as the emulsifying wax, and then we are going to melt that down as well. And I melt that down first before putting in the oil and the butter, and then sort of use the heat of the emulsifying wax and the stearic acid to melt down the oil and the butter. Now, the emulsifying wax and stearic acid in a solution like this, it's going to be basically to emulsify the water and the oils, essentially. So stearic acid in and of itself, it's great for the skin. It actually, the fatty acid chain has a lot of really good benefits, but really it's going to be used as a binder. So like in soaps, in cold processed soaps, for example, you have the sodium hydroxide, which is sort of acting to break down the fatty acid structure of the oils and the butters and turn them into chemically a salt. But you don't have that sort of chemical compound in a lotion, and so you really do need an emulsifier to help with the binding and the, you know, changing of the water and the oils and butters to a sort of solid consistency, a new compound that will be, you know, a nice cream structure and not a separated, you know, substance. Now, this particular lotion is scented with a really cool blend. I call it Twilight. It has mandarin and sandalwood and cedar and, oh, clary sage and some patchouli and, gosh, what else? There's a lot in this guy, but it's delightful. It smells magical, like an autumnal stroll through the woods. It's delightful. Now, both of our oils and butters and stearic acid and emulsifying wax in the container on the left, and the distilled water are accounted for here, and they are all at the appropriate temperature. We are sitting around 150 degrees for both, and we are going to now emulsify, or we're going to now mix the two And I'm actually straining this solution because I saw a couple grainy bits from the shea butter, which can happen when you're using shea. Now, this particular recipe, again, it's a shea and argan oil blend, which I love. Argan is great for skin rejuvenation, helping out with elasticity and collagen repair. And shea butter is, it's obviously, it's vitamin rich. It's a deep penetrating butter, very, very good for moisture. But sometimes when you get unrefined shea, you can have some sort of packets of stuff in them. So I noticed that this had a couple little grainy things that I wanted to get out, so I strained it before putting it into my distilled water solution. Now, this solution itself, it is going to blend for around 2 minutes. Now, when I say that I disinfect all of my containers, I mean it, and that's right down to the stir stick. This is actually a different stir stick than I use for cold process soap making. And the Pyrex looks very similar to what I use for the rest of my soaps and everything, but it's its own separate thing, because lotions and leave-on products are different than cold process products. It's not 100% necessary to have separate buckets, but I do just for funsies. And I want to test after the first initial blend, right? I want to test temperature before we put anything else in. And so you want to let it cool down a little bit before you put in the rest of this stuff. Now, this is a bronzing lotion. So look at this. Look how cool this is. We're just going to take a moment and look at the awesomeness. Like, you have the copper mica here that will act as the bronzer. And yeah, isn't that so mesmerizing? I'm about to mess it up. Yeah. So you're going to want to pulse blend this for another 1 to 2 minutes. I do 2 minutes as a minimum for all of these mixes, just to really ensure that you are properly, assisting the emulsifying wax and the stearic acid with their job of breaking everything down and, turning into essentially a new, strand. And for that, I might overmix. It might be unnecessary, but also I've never had a failed batch of lotion, so I do the thing. And after this has mixed up for another 2 minutes in total, I'm going to let it cool down again before I add the preservative. Now, the preservative that we use for water-based products is the Optifin ND, and I love the Optifin ND. It took me a while to get used to and comfortable with preservatives in products, and so realistically I only carry the two things, the lotion and the masks that have preservatives in them. But as far as preservatives go, the Optifin ND is what I feel is the most responsible for your skin and the environment and all the things. It is paraben free, it's phthalate free, it is not a formaldehyde donor, which means it does not contribute to the creation of excess formaldehyde within your body and all that jazz, which is good. And as far as the actual usage of it, it's a very small amount, and it's very effective, and it's more effective than any sort of essential oil or vitamin E or whatever that you can use in lotions to make a preservative, because in all honesty those are not preservatives, and that's not tried and true. And you really do need something that is tried and true, especially if you're selling product, and I in fact do sell these. So want to make sure that you don't get any mold or microbes or germs or gross things growing on your lotion. So we're going to give it another final turn with the stick blender for another minute or two, and then we're going to let it cool down a little bit more, at least to under 120 degrees, before we pour it into the containers. Now, the containers for this I absolutely love. These are my amber bottle containers, and it took a while to actually, it was weird how long it took to find amber glass containers with threaded necks for pump bottles. It was shocking how long it took to find that, and at a price point where I could still keep my my prices where I wanted them to be. But once I finally found them, I ordered a whole bunch because I love the amber bottles, and I love being able to, you know, have a nice beautiful glass bottle, and especially in the Harry Potter line, because it's magical and whatever, so it needs a little extra, you know, something special. But, you know, just in general, because a glass bottle can be reused for a number of things, and, you know, or you can, you know, recycle it rather easily, and it can be turned into, you know, something else cool, and that's awesome. But yeah, so these bottles, love them, and I have moved all of my line over into my lotion line over into glass bottles to this point. I haven't found good glass containers for the mud masks, but, you know, when I do, we'll do the thing. And yeah, you're just gonna pour this stuff in and let it set up. You can let it, I let mine set up overnight because I'm not at the shop for, you know, 6, 7, 8 hours at a time to let this stuff firm up so I can, you know, then test it. So this will set up overnight, and then I will test the final product, you know, tomorrow, and we will check out the consistency. Now, this particular solution, it is a 70% solution, so that means 70% water to 30% all of the other skin-loving awesome things. You can go a thinner lotion with an 80% or an 85% solution, or you can go thicker with, you know, a 65 or maybe even 60% solution. But this is a nice middle ground between a cream, a heavy cream, and like a really lightweight thin lotion. And so this is where I found my happy point. Okay, now we're going to give it a really quick test. You actually get to see me ungloved, which never happens. And again, it is a bronzer, so it's a very, very light bronzer. We don't want it to be too over the top. But as you can see, it rubs in really well. It's delightful. It leaves no residue, no weirdness. And yep, you do the thing, you rub it in, and there's a bit of a bronzing and a sort of skin balancing effect to it, which I really love. Like, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I like it. Yay! There you have it, the lotion potion named Felix Felicis. I really do love the scent blend that goes into this. I love the hydration of this particular, you know, recipe, the Shea and the Argan together. It's really perfect for summertime skin when you're out and about more and the weather is drier and you really want to lock in that moisture as much as you can. So I love Shea and Argan for those purposes. Now, if you are interested in purchasing the lotion potions, this one, the Polyjuice or the Amortensia, you can find on the website along with all of the rest of the Harry Potter inspired soaps, lotions, balms, etc. If you are interested in your own, you know, custom batch of lotions or anything else, yeah, you can get a hold of me at shantine@soapandplay.com. And if you are interested in following me on social media, you can do that too. I'm there, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you're here, and I appreciate your interest, you know, to this point. So if you are new, thank you, welcome. Subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. I would appreciate it forever. Thank you in advance. And yeah, that's it for me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another round of 365 days of soap. Bye.